Nigeria is grappling with a high food inflation rate exacerbated by insecurity and severe flooding late last year, as well as the continuing Russia-Ukraine conflict. As Deji Badimosi tells us, Africa's biggest economy is facing a serious food security challenge that could potentially throw millions more into poverty.
Nigeria's 2022 flooding is among the worst the country has ever recorded. By the time the water began to recede, over 600,000 hectares of farmlands had been damaged, according to Nigeria National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA. Worst hit were the food belt regions of the country. Farmers like Boyomoso Eli in Nigeria's northeast lost everything.
It's a disaster, really it's a disaster, because all my effort is on my farm, so it's been gone. So I left with no option than to depend on God, than to wait to see what God will do again.
Even before the flooding hit, Nigeria had been facing a huge food security challenge as a result of insurgency and banditry in the country's northeast, northwest, and part of the north-central regions, all of them important food belts. UNICEF estimates that around 25 million Nigerians could be facing food insecurity by June this year, up from the current estimates of 17 million. Food inflation in the country is currently at a high of 24.32%.
The estimate now is about close to 100 million Nigerians will drop into poverty as a result of the high food inflation.
Nigeria imports a large amount of the food it consumes. One of the major food imports is wheat. The country produces only around 1% of the roughly 6 million tons of wheat it consumes annually, relying on importation to bridge the gap, which the central bank says costs around $2 billion annually. With Russia and Ukraine accounting for the bulk of its wheat import, the conflict between both countries has caused serious disruption in the supply chain, leading to an uptick in the price of staples like bread and cereals in Nigeria.
At some point in the history of our country, we had considered a viable alternative in cassava flour. And that really has not been taken seriously. No significant effort has gone into, improving and incorporating cassava flour into bakery. It is amazing that in spite of what is happening in Ukraine, the supply of bread is still there, but the price is something else.
For now, Nigeria has turned to other alternative markets to make up for the shortfall in the supply of wheat from the Russia-Ukraine regions. The alternatives, though, are quite more expensive. The government is also investing more to boost local production of wheat. For the foreseeable future, though, the country's reliance on import does not look like it's going to slow down. Deji Badimosi, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.